everybody, and welcome to a Hangout on Air with EdTechTeam. And today, we're talking about the Carlsbad Summit. My name's Jim Sill, and I work with EdTechTeam. And one of the things that I do for those guys is talk to teachers about how to bring some technology into your life. And so I've gathered some friends today for you guys to hear from and to meet, and hopefully convince you that the Carlsbad Summit is an event that you want to join. So today, as you can see down below, I brought along some friends, and I want to start off by having her introduce herself, our day one keynote. My longtime friend, Tina Shea Blanchette from New Orleans. Tina Shea, how are you?
I'm great this evening. It is 7 p.m. in New Orleans, or I should say 7:30 p.m. in New Orleans, where I am right now. And I am going to be bringing a New Orleans twist to my keynote. So I'm really hoping that everyone is going to be there to learn a little bit more about something we call in Louisiana lagniappe. And I don't want to give too much away, but I just want to let you know that if you're interested in pushing your students to be better, making them do their most excellent work, then you want to make sure that you're there for that day one keynote.
Oh, I love it. Is that anytime I think about anything coming from New Orleans, I think it has powdered sugar on it, but that might just be me.
Or seasoning salt.
That's right. Hey, the other person that's going to be keynoting is my good friend and our good friend at EdTechTeam, Mr. Jeff Hiles, our day two keynote. Hey, Jeff, how's it going?
I'm doing well. I am outside enjoying the weather here in San Diego, and I wanted to let everybody see that in honor of Bob Ross, there are no mistakes, happy accidents. I think that actually applies to learning as well. Like, there are no mistakes in learning, just happy accidents. I have spent the better part of 20 years teaching in San Diego, and I'm so excited to be able to do this event with everyone. I love to travel, and I love to see different things, but there's something special about San Diego and San Diego educators. And so to have this opportunity, I was actually supposed to be somewhere else, and we changed schedules so I could come work with this amazing crew. I know all these people individually, and I know how amazing they are. And I would say also, knowing as a Southern California, knowing that our budgets aren't exactly flush for travel. And so if you're local and perhaps you couldn't go to Q the weekend before, an awesome event, but if you couldn't make it to Q, we would love to have you at our event because it's cost effective. We'll feed you very well, and I promise you we will bring the awesome, because we do so much more than just tool-based things. Everybody here that I've worked with, I know we do geo things embedded in all curricular areas. I think of just, when I see all these people, I think of integration. And I know Tina Shea's expertise is math, but everything she thinks about is all kids learning, everything I've worked with. And I've seen this whole panel do that. So we're super excited. I'm really, really excited. Also to be able to give a keynote in my hometown. So I'll turn it back. Can you hear the OB parrots?
The birds. Yes, we can hear the birds.
I'm giving you the full effect. Literally, they are wild parrots in Ocean Beach. And they are
it's great.
Flying around.
Jeff, it's so good to get you. Unfortunately, to get you, somebody else had to not have you. But it's great that you're local and you know everything about what's going on down there in Southern California. So someone who is not local and hopefully will add to the flavor, speaking of food, at the summit with his incredible taste from down under is Mr. Chris Betcher. So we're bringing Chris Betcher in from Sydney, Australia to help close out the event. Chris, how's it going?
Hi, Jim. It's going good. Yeah, thanks for having me here, and thanks for bringing me over to the event. I'm excited about being there. Love coming to California. It's my second favorite place, other than home, of course. So yeah, a bit about me. I am a teacher, have been a teacher for 30 years. I originally was an art teacher, and I used to help kids make things out of paint and clay. And then at some point along that continuum, I discovered technology and computing and multimedia, and then I started helping kids make things out of zeros and ones. And it's all about being creative and making things. So yeah, I'm running 5 sessions at the summit that are all loosely based around the idea of getting kids to think more, make more, do more.
Yeah.
These days, of course, I'm not in the classroom. I work with EdTechTeam full-time. I'm the Director of Professional Learning here in Australia and New Zealand. While I work primarily here down under, we try and get over to the States and Southeast Asia and Canada and all sorts of places pretty regularly just to stay in touch with what's going on around the world in education.
I love it. Hey, Chris, I know that you'll be able to bring us a very global perspective about what teachers are doing down in Australia and what teachers are doing all around the world. And I'm hoping that you'll bring along a little jar of Vegemite so we can spread that on some Panera bread, and everybody will love it.
Why is everyone shaking their head? I don't understand.
They've had
know how to do
Australia.
it properly, and it's still nasty.
Only if Tina Shea brings crawfish and we can mix the two together.
Whoa. Oh.
You know, I've tried to do that before, and apparently it doesn't travel with family about that.
You might not make it off the plane.
Yeah. Your seatmates on the plane probably wonder a little bit. Well, last but not least is one of my favorite presenters and part of the duo, the Tech Fairies duo. We have Mo joining us at the event. And thanks for volunteering your time to come and help work with some teachers and grace us with your good times.
Thank you.
Mo, tell us about yourself.
So my real name's Michelle, but I've been called Mo way long ago because my initials are MO. So that's how it kind of gets started. This is my 33rd year of teaching and 32 years in 5th grade. I taught 1 year of kindergarten and that was enough. And so integration is huge for me because I am an elementary school teacher. So we integrate and weave everything into all our subject areas. I started teaching in San Diego City Schools, and I was at a technology magnet school back when the Apple II GS was the big selling point for going to our magnet school. I love presenting. My big love is working with other teachers of age who are perhaps a little scared about what's going on and trying to get them comfortable and knowing that it's just about clicking and not being afraid and just getting them comfortable with Google tools and other things that I like to present about.
I love it. I'm so glad to have you. For those of you who are watching, we have a bunch of other presenters, but I just wanted to introduce you to just a little select small group just to get a feel for what that summit's going to look like in Carlsbad. And that is on March 24th and 25th, right there in Southern California. So hopefully you will be able to make some time to join us. But I tell you what, let me ask you guys have all been to summits, and I'm just really wondering what you think is a takeaway that people will be able to walk away with at this event. So maybe just one takeaway, having been to summits, what do people normally walk away with at these events? And so maybe Jeff, what do you think about that?
That requires me unmuting my mic so you don't hear the planes and the parrots. A takeaway from me, I think, and it's interesting, and seeing this panel, knowing them the way that I do, this is a tech conference, yes, but we also understand the importance of the relationships that we have with our kids and how tech is the medium, I think, to actually achieve student learning at an amplified level. And so you will walk out with an introduction to lots of tools, lots of geo tools as well. We're going to have some fun geo experiences for you. But you should also walk away with the idea of like, hey, I'm already establishing these amazing relationships with these kids. So what can I do to amplify their voice, to amplify their learning? And that's where the tech comes in. So it's something you should not fear. It's something you're going to walk away going, holy cow, there's like 5 things I'm going to start next week. And that's what I hope you'll walk away with. And if you don't, make sure you connect with any of us personally at the summit. And we would love to just sit down with you for not presenting and answer any questions that you have. Because the other thing about an EdTechTeam event is the personal connection between us and the it's a tribe. You're joining the tribe. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I love that. Thanks, Jeff. Because I think that's one of the things that people may not realize is that as presenters, we actually came out at the desk right at the front. So in between sessions, there's always somebody at the desk that can work with you one-on-one and be able to answer any questions that you might have around maybe somebody you had in a session, or just maybe something that's happening to you in your classroom that you're just trying to figure out how to fix. I love that. Tina Shea, you've only been to a few of our events at EdTechTeam, but you do so much with integrating technology around the country and the world. So what do you think is an important thing for people to walk away with at one of these, or at this event in March 24th and 25th?
Well, listening to what Jeff said, the word that resonated with me was tribe. one thing that I like about EdTechTeam summits compared to other professional development opportunities for teachers is the fact that I feel like it's kind of like the best of both worlds, right? Like I do a lot of seminars where it's just me and a group of teachers and we work together all day. But what I like about EdTechTeam is that you still get the experience of kind of like if you were going to a conference. So you have a wide array of choices in terms of what you can experience, and you get to decide what you're going to learn in a day. But at the same time, it's not so huge and impersonal like most large conferences where you don't get to necessarily connect with the speakers that you want to connect with. Or, I know I've been to conferences where, it's standing room only in a session and people are unfortunately aren't able to get into the sessions that they want to get into. And I haven't really had that experience at the summits. And you also have the keynotes, which is something that usually I know if someone keynotes like ISTE, right, it's going to be very difficult for you to get to talk to that keynoter after the session. But with the summits, you have your keynoters who are also doing sessions, and they're approachable, as Jeff mentioned. So I just think it's a really great experience for teachers who want to get that conference-like experience, but at the same time have a more, approachable, kind of homey feel to it.
Yeah, and I think that's so true. And just thinking about all the summits that we've run, that is a really important piece of what we try to do. It's we're really there just to hang out and make sure that you're comfortable. So I think that's great. So check us out. Sometimes we call that desk the Wonder Bar, not just the German reference to Wunderbar, but the actual that help you wonder what you can do with all this and what you can do when you get back home. So the thing, it's interesting because we started this many years ago, and in the beginning, it was really tools focused. I remember often talking about Google Docs and Google Sheets and Google presentations, and really just talking about how I can share a doc. And obviously that doesn't, well, some people still need that. We don't necessarily focus on that as much anymore. So, Chris, talking to you before, what are some of the ways that you've adapted your sessions to make them less tools focused and really focusing on the fit the needs of today's attendee? Maybe somebody who's been there before.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things we hear a lot from running summits all over the world is people consistently say, we often hear it was the best professional learning they've ever had, which is a lovely thing to hear. But the other thing is that people often say that the ideas they get are instantly usable. They can literally take them and use them on Monday. And that's a sort of practical PD really you want to be getting. So I think the fact that these events are all run by people with a lot of classroom experience, it's not some guru on a mountaintop telling you what should work. It's people who are talking about the things they've actually done in their classrooms that do work. And because of that, they can take those things they learn, they can use them on Monday, they can actually see the results immediately. And that's a really inspiring thing that people, motivates them to sort of want to then take the next step. Yeah. And I think everybody we work with is really good at explaining the tool side of things. Like, I think we've all developed that ability to take something that might seem complex and make it simple, which is, I think, a good skill to have. But because we can do that and make the tools seem easy to use, it makes it much easier to put the focus then back on what you actually do with the tools and how you actually use them to help kids learn better.
It's so true. It's so true. I know that down in Australia that a lot of times they refer to coaches as SAMR coaches, as opposed to just like a tech integration specialist. So really being able to kind of get beyond substitution and really into the modification and redefining lessons with technology is fantastic. And we see that all the time now. So Mo, what do you think? I know that you've been to so many summits for us, and but somebody that has worked with a lot of teachers who, like you mentioned before, are just a little bit afraid. How have your sessions adapted to fit that need?
Well, especially the one that I do that's called Little Steps for Long Timers. I mean, it's basically, I usually only have 5 or 6 people that come in, but it's so prime for just working with them exactly where they are and where they want to go. So, the old monitor and adjust, what do you guys need? I have a whole presentation I can do, but if you want to do just this or Google Classroom or whatever your specific needs are, we'll do that, because that's what you guys are here for, is to get some help with that. I think that yes, I've been to so many, I've lost count of how many summits I've gone too. And I mean, one of my favorite parts is going to other sessions. I mean, I'm there to learn as well. So I think that's important, is to know that we're not just there to present, and we're not there just to say, hey, we know everything. Absolutely not true. I mean, everything in technology changes so fast, and there's so many, there's some new tool to work with, and something new to learn every time. And that's what I love, is getting into other classes and learning from even when I'm presenting, learning from the people who I'm presenting to, because they often have other ideas, and even ideas to take me off in another direction. So I'm there to learn.
I think that's such an important thing to remember. And a lot of times, and this is something I've noticed over the years, is that people who sit in your session, next thing you know, they've been inspired to try some things out. They learn something about Google, or more about using technology. Next thing you know, they become Google certified innovators. They become Google certified trainers, and here they are presenting. And I think that that we love that. I love to see that. I think we see the examples of that all the time. Just to kind of keep it up, moving this forward, is that, I know in Southern California and all over the United States and even around the world, there's budget crunches. And so, Jeff, you mentioned earlier that about having a budget crunch and maybe not having the ability to go to Q, the mother Q in Palm Springs, and that keeping this local helps districts. And I think that's an important thing to remember. What do you think is a good reason for people to take that little bit of money that they have and join us? What do you think are the big takeaways for that when you unmute?
Well, I think the exciting piece again is that even if one had to pay for this event, with their own money or try to, it's very affordable, and the outcome of it, the bang for your buck, so to say, is exponentially greater than what you would be paying. And we feed you very well. We always have Panera cater our events, so you'll be sitting with us for breakfast and lunch and having fun. And what you may not know is 4 of the 5 of us here on this panel have been connected with the Google Earth outreach team in some capacity. I think 3 of us, maybe 4 of us, still sit on a advisory team for Google Earth. And one of the things that we love to share beyond just the coolness of the geo tools, one of the things that we are so fortunate to be able to do partnering with Google is to have some access to things and access to engineers' ears. Because when you look at when Google Classroom first came out to what it is now, all those improvements came because teachers said, hey, what if it could do this? And we tend to look at tools sometimes as educators and go, oh, if only it could do that. And I promise you, everyone here, especially Jim and Chris, have had direct contact with Googlers that would be like, this is what we need. And these things happen. So again, it's about that tribe. It's about going, hey, you're learning, we're learning with you. And we are educators, like everyone here has been in the classroom, done different roles, and we're very committed to student learning first. And tech just happens to be a great way for us to do it. So we would love for y'all to come hang out with us.
I really would. One of the things that
make fun of Ben's accent. I'm just saying. So.
That's true too. One of the things that we're focusing on for this event is, especially as a theme, is the creativity and innovation. And I think having this team on board it really helps amplify that. Tina Shea, one of the things I know about you, and this is how I first heard about your name back, I don't know how many years, 5-6 years ago, is that your video usage with math. And I still show this video to people about how you incorporated video and math, and then that almost became a phenomenon on YouTube. You talk about the importance of creativity and innovation, especially with in a subject that, in my perspective, doesn't really have much. But don't get mad, math teachers. I'm just saying.
Yeah, don't say that. Don't say that. What I will say is that I think as teachers, we have to teach the kids that we have in our classrooms. And we have to recognize that our kids are constantly plugged in. I have 3 children of my own. You notice that you haven't heard a peep out of them. They're all engaging with their devices as we speak, right? And the truth is that if we're not engaging our students in ways that resonate with them, then it's really tough for them to, learn from us. And I think that we also need to understand that that's not just true about our students, it's also true about us as learners, as 21st century learners. We have different expectations than we did when, we would roll in the TV with the VHS machine, right? The VCR. So sometimes it's easy for us as teachers to forget that the world is different now. It's not just the kids that are different. Everything is different. And it's really difficult to engage a teacher, when they are distracted by email and their cell phone. So that we have the same challenge with our students, and we have to be more creative if we want to engage them and get them to learn the things that they need to know to be successful, which is why we all got into teaching in the first place.
It's so true. It's so true. And I think that it helped having you guys and everybody's experience around how to do that was really fantastic. And I think it'll be great for teachers to go home and realize that that creativity and innovation have a lot to do with what they're doing in the classroom and also with the tools that we'll be sharing about. I will mention this. And this is sort of something I just thought I would do. I don't know how many of you know the Google Cardboard. So as part of our innovation and some of the geo stuff that we do as a team, I think I'm going to give away 100 of these. So the first 100 people that show up at our summit, I'm going to give one of these EdTechTeam cardboards. So they're fantastic, but the thing is that we'll be using them to not only in our sessions, but also maybe using them to innovate throughout the day. So at that table that I mentioned, the Wonder Bar, where you can come and hang out with us, I'm happy to show you, and the rest of the team, I'm sure, will be happy to show you how to use this cardboard box to kind of inspire creativity and innovation. So listen, I think it's time to maybe wrap this up. So let's just hear from you, Chris. One thing that people can do when they come to the summit to get the most out of the experience, to put all the pressure on you for the last question.
Bring it home, Chris.
Look, just immerse yourself in it. Just be in the moment. Just take everything from every session. There's lots of people to learn from. There's not an us and them mentality. It is a tribe, like a couple of people have said. And everyone, regardless of whether you're a complete newbie who's coming for the very first time or you're a presenter who's done 50 summits before, everybody is a peer and everybody learns from each other. So get involved, have conversations, ask questions. Everyone's really relatable, and make the most of that.
Fun.
Yeah, have some fun. I love it. Thanks, you guys. I can't wait to hang out with you guys in just a few weeks. I can't wait to see the rest of you out there watching this at home or wherever you are in your classrooms. But we've got a great group. We have some other great presenters on the list as well. Just visit the website that you see posted right there. I think somewhere down there. And we'll go ahead and post it on the video as well. Thanks for joining us. I hope that you've learned some things and hope that you'll consider joining us on March 24th and 25th there in Carlsbad. Thanks very much, you guys. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.